Our Middlesbrough moment. You have to come up with names. Come up with names for our Middlesbrough moments.
Shaka, how many times have Napoli lost in Serie A?
I can't remember.
Does the algorithm not tell you that? Welcome into Extra Time.
I'm going to go with.
Why would he know that?
I'm going to go with 3 times.
All right. Okay, the algorithm was correct.
Well, they lost twice in the last couple of weeks. I know that.
Not in the league. That wasn't the
Said
question.
once in the power rankings.
Recently. That wasn't the question. The question was how many times they lost in Serie A.
Well, take your pick. They've lost in Serie A and they've lost in Champions League. So.
I just answered the question.
For those who weren't watching the show tonight, not only did Stevie Nicol insult and offend Gab Marcotte, he also had a big argument with Shaka Hislop about the power rankings.
It just didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense. It wasn't an argument. It was one person making sense, me, and one person not so much.
Mario Melchiot, welcome back. Thank you so much for being with us after all the shenanigans you've had to put up with tonight.
Oh, I'm happy I'm here and they are there.
That's why he's wearing a jacket.
Oh, yeah. What's the bit of a jacket vibe tonight, Mario?
Listen.
Oh, straight up.
I'm looking
straight.
I'm like, no, because it's still early doors here, but I'm looking at the gentleman that's sitting with you, so I'm just trying to stay in line.
We expect a shirt and tie next time, as well as...
Okay, for Kate, because you said so, next time I have a shirt and tie on.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay, guys, with all the injuries for United at the moment, will they miss out on the top 4?
No. I still think United finish top 4.
I'd say it's going to be tough for them. With the injuries and the fact they've got they've got more away games than home games. It's going to be tough for them.
They've got Spurs, Brighton and Villa. We'll put the graphic up. I can't remember which of those games are at home and which are away. And those are teams that can catch them. All 3.
And Stevie's fear is the amount of away games.
Aye.
Right?
Yes.
Do we still have that graphic? Can we put that graphic back up? Let's see what games they have.
Let's see if anyone's listening to us.
Probably not.
Mario, while we're waiting for it, do you have any fears for their top 4 finish?
Oh, here we are.
Yeah, here we
at
are.
Spurs,
We got it.
home to Villa, at Ooh,
They've got 7 away games in the Premier League.
Two of those.
No, they don't.
So it comes on to that 3. Spurs, Villa, Brighton. Right? Those are the 3 teams chasing them.
5 away games.
That's 5th, 6th, and 7th right there.
5 away games.
Spurs, Villa, Brighton. Yeah.
Both fighting for the life.
I think
fighting for the life, Jack. Brighton.
I agree with the away games. The away games could be tricky for them. For him just to come into the league.
I think United could go to Spurs and win. Going to Brighton is a tougher test, I think, than going to Spurs.
Well.
So, what's the verdict?
None.
you need a yes or a no, is that what you mean?
I do. Are they going to finish in the top 4?
I'm going to say no.
Who's going to finish 4th?
Spurs.
Spurs? Nah.
Just because it's Spurs.
I'm sticking with United. I'm sticking with United.
Mario, are you sticking with United in the top 4?
I think he's just too clever that, Ten Hag will come up with some magic. I give it to him. Top 4.
All right. For all, today's athletes are generally bigger, faster and stronger, but are they also more fragile than in your playing days?
Asking.
Go on, Mario.
I think today they're definitely bigger and faster. Yes, I agree. They could be stronger, but I think just because of all the things that are built around it, VR and, you get quicker a card and stuff like that, I think it makes it maybe a little bit more fragile. But away from that, I think the professional life now as a footballer is more detailed. I feel like they're more looking at what you eat, how do you rest, all those details can make you a better player. But sometimes I do have to be honest to you, the toughness, man, I feel like, please don't take that away. So yes, they're getting a bit fragile with the toughness because the toughness was so good to watch football sometimes, or play it.
Is that how you read what the meaning of fragile is there? If we could change it to, are they less tough than in your days?
Yeah, mentally they're not close to the players in the past. Mentally, not even close. Not even close. I would suggest, though, however, the fields that they play on, because of the speed of the game and because the fields are so hard, I think that's harder on their body than it was on us. The fields we played on, well, I can only talk for myself, but the fields that I played on were softer, and so you can play more games and you can get away with things physically on a softer field if you're playing that amount of games. The fact that they're playing on fields that are really rock hard, I think is way harder physically on their body. But as far as the mental side of the game, they're nowhere close to the guys that played previously. Not even close.
I wonder how much of it is a little bit of a balancing act in that I think the game's quicker, as the message says. The game's a lot quicker, so that takes more out of the body. But then to Stevie's point, the pitches are firmer. But then, while I understand what Stevie's saying in terms of the impacts on the joints on a firm pitch, playing on a soft pitch is not easy either. It gets heavy, and then the equipment is different. The equipment is heavier, so you're carrying more pounds than players today. So you have a quicker game against a slower game where you're carrying more pounds through your equipment. So it becomes a little bit of a balancing act as far as getting that right goes. I'm not sure where for that. I guess the easy thing for me to say is yes, players back in our day, we were tough. We were so much tougher. But players today are just so much quicker.
But they play more games too, eh? They also play more games.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that they have than what we were playing.
And they get paid more money, Mario.
Yeah, but that's just how life is. When we were playing, we were saying the same thing. Now our time is finished.
For Stevie, what profile of a midfielder do you think Liverpool should look for in the summer, with Bellingham being unlikely to sign? And if you have names in mind, that would be a bonus. This is from Don't Hutchison.
Oh, Caicedo. Caicedo, don't hit on that. Caicedo, perfect. If you look at Liverpool at the best, they had three midfielders who generally it was about winning the ball back. It was about getting around the field. It was about winning tackles, winning the ball back, and giving it to the front three. Somebody like Caicedo is absolutely perfect for that.
Okay.
I know the boys yesterday were talking about Declan Rice to Liverpool. Would you have Declan? And then my follow-up to that is, what would you pay for Declan Rice? Not what West Ham are asking. What do you think he's worth?
With Shaka's money.
Oh, with Shaka's money? How much you got in the bank?
Yeah, good luck. You get some music.
Listen, he's not worth like 120 million or anything like that.
Okay, let's do over or under. Over or under 80 million.
I think to pay that for him would be fair. 80 million. I think 80 million. I would pay 80 million for him, because you're getting a guy who knows the Premier League. You know exactly what you're going to get. There's no settling in period, or he's going to get used to the play or any of that nonsense. He's coming straight in and playing and being one of your best players, I think. Certainly one of your best midfielders. So I would pay 80 million. Unfortunately, he's got a long contract, and they're going to want stupid money. So, number one, I don't think Liverpool have stupid money to pay for anybody, and Liverpool need to sign 3 or 4 players. So they're going to have to go into the mode of when Klopp came and try and find people like Mane and Salah and pay 30 or 40 million for them and then bring them all along a little bit. That's where Liverpool, I think, are going to end up looking to fill the slots that they need. They're not going out and spending, I don't believe, 80 million on Declan Rice or 100 million.
Next question's for you, Mario. After their next Champions League game against Real Madrid, when will be the next time we see Chelsea again in European competition?
Ooh, that's a big one. I think the answer will be the coach that they're going to bring in and what his strategy is, and making sure that instead of the club just buying the players, I think the manager needs to be involved, because if not, it just becomes a situation where no one knows what's going on. So I think next season is going to be a really important season for them, for us to see that they're moving forward, and then the season after that, they could, know the answer, but I think it might be a big shout for me to say next season they're going to be in the Champions League, or the season after next. I mean, they're going to be in the Champions League. It could be a little bit longer for them to take, so that's why. So one more season at least.
One more season. Shaka, start, bench or drop these CONCACAF goalkeeping legends. Ooh. Campos, Navas, Howard.
I start Navas. That's kind of easy. I would bench Howard and sell Campos.
Well, you could just drop him.
Oh, wherever
Maybe I said sell, actually.
There you go, there. But okay, start, bench, and drop.
That's fine. No,
yes,
that's fine.
right.
Still the right order.
Got dropped, yep.
Okay, for the boys, have you ever had a teammate that you were surprised became a coach? Was the surprise that you became a coach from your team?
They would probably say so, yeah. I would say Rushy. Rushy was coach at Chester.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know he was a coach.
He was a coach at Chester.
And why was that such a surprise?
Well, Rushy doesn't say a lot. And when you're coaching, you've got to say a lot. You know? I mean, again, I couldn't have envisioned Rushy standing up in front of a group of people and talking for a period of time or any of that kind of stuff. I just didn't see it. And I can't see it. Don't know how he did it. I'd love to have been a fly on the wall. I know that.
Anyone for you, Shaka?
Lee Clark, my teammate up at Newcastle United. Yeah, that just come out of the blue for me. Yeah. I mean, without getting into any detail, I knew Lee when he was much younger. And enjoyed an evening out. Let's just leave it at that. And knowing Lee enjoying an evening out, I didn't think that translated to management in any way.
Right.
The problem is...
Maybe he got it all out of his system and then he knows exactly what they...
Oh, well, yep, he certainly didn't leave anything back. He didn't leave anything out, that's for sure.
Here's the problem. When you're playing...
Oh, that's so good.
When you're playing, you don't need to grow up. When you stop playing, you have to grow up. Because you're never in the real world. Unless you've got...
When you become a pundit?
Unless you've got a trillion sitting in the bank, all of a sudden reality hits that now you have to do something. And you have to be sensible and you have to concentrate. I mean, all we had to do was go in the morning in the dressing room for a carry on. It was like being a schoolboy. And then when the balls came out, we got serious and we were at it and we worked hard. But then as soon as the final whistle went, or as soon as training finished, you're back to being a big kid again. So you don't grow up when you're a football player. I mean, there are 3 or 4 probably every club who are always sensible, always like mature, just always, But then you've got the large percentage of us like myself, and I'm assuming I'm going to throw Shaka.
Not at all. I was very mature.
Couldn't wait to get in and have a carry on.
I was very mature as a player, Steve.
So we don't grow up until we finish playing. I don't think so.
What about you, Mario? Anyone that surprised you who became a coach?
I had one guy. It was probably Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, because in the game we had so many arguments, and then next thing I know, I find out he's a coach. So I came to London. And I called him up and he said, come by and come and see me. And I said, where? I said, your old training ground where we used to go to Chelsea. So I come in, walks me through, and I say, you really did it. He goes, yeah, I knew I was going to do it. So just that moment of just like he said, I know Jimmy from when we were the younger boys' age. And then having a player at you that was so passionate and couldn't control his emotions at a certain point. Now being in a job where you definitely have to control your emotions. And now I see, even further now, I'm talking from now, he does it really good. But at that point, I was a little bit surprised because I was like, dude, you've done some great stuff for yourself to become in this position. And he started laughing.
And you know what, though? There's the other side of that question, which we'll probably get another day. The player that you were like, oh, of course you became a coach, where you could always see that they were always going to become a coach. But yeah, that's for another show. Thank you so much for sending your questions.
Write in, Kay. Write in with your question.
Yeah.
You'll have to write in.
You'll probably a mum on the show.
Okay, Mom.
The youngest here tonight. Yeah, so anyway, these guys have got to get to bed because they're up too late.
Yeah.
We'll see you tomorrow for more of the same.
Good night, Jack.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.